Hello, everyone. I hope you're doing well on this Friday. Thank you so much for joining for the Forum Friday on today, December 2nd. It's hard to believe we're already in December. We're wrapping up the year here. But just wanted to say thank you so much. This month, we are celebrating and showcasing a few of our chapters that have done such a wonderful job in activities and popularity with their student body, with bringing the IPC Student Chapter alive on their campus. And so this month, we really wanted to showcase 3 chapters and talk through each one of them, have them showcase each one of the chapters themselves. And we will, at the end of each one of their slide presentation, we will take a few minutes to have question and answers if you would like. So I will go ahead and pass it on over to Michigan Tech, Gerd Brock.
All right. Hello, everybody. I'm Gerd Brock. I'm the president of the IPC Student Chapter at Michigan Tech. So here we have just a picture of our officers. Left to right, we have our treasurer, Ben Keppers, myself. Then our industry liaison is Jack Philp. And then we have our vice president, Nick Matusko. Not in the picture, but our advisor is Dr. Middlebrook. Go to the next slide. So to kind of go over our goals of our chapter, we pretty well try and align ourselves with the goals of the IPC Education Foundation. So to cover the education portion, we try and raise awareness about the PCB industry and teach our members about PCB related subjects. For industry connections, we host and promote industry speaker events and plant tours and that sort of thing. And then for projects, that tends to be kind of our best way of kind of relating and facilitating the education industry connections. And so we can do a lot of hands-on soldering practice kind of projects, which helps with education in that regard. And also we can demonstrate a lot of these like theoretical concepts people are learning in classes in a lab setting, which is a really kind of useful way to kind of solidify those concepts. So apologize if this text is getting a little small here, but so for past activities, we have these seasonal blinky soldering events. There's the oak leaf one you see in the picture there. We have several others, snowflakes, that sort of thing. It's a fairly simple circuit, but it uses surface mount components, which a lot of students don't really have experience with assembling. And so this is a really great way for us to teach our students and members about that surface mount kind of technology. We can teach them how to go about hand soldering surface mount components, as well as we have in a lab here, we have the ability to do solder paste. We have a manual pick and place machine and a reflow oven. So it kind of demonstrates that whole process there to kind of get an idea of how, I mean, obviously it's smaller scale, but give an idea of how this would actually be done in a large scale production kind of method. We also have had several industry speakers, just to kind of name a few that have been here in the last year or so. We've had Milwaukee Tool, NSWC Crane, Texas Instruments, Honeywell Aerospace, Gentex have all come and given presentations of various topics and that sort of thing. We've also done a couple of plant tours. We have Calumet Electronics, which is a big PCB fabricator. They're just, 20 minutes north of us. And so we've established a fairly good relationship with them, and we've gotten to do tours there. We've also previously done a tour of the Plexus Corporation. And just to show off a little, some statistics here, you can see on this graph here, this is participation over time. So the blue line shows people signing up as like for a interest list at outreach events. And so you can see previously it had been around 10, 20, maybe 30-ish students signing up at each of these events. And then this past fall, we had just shy of 100 students sign up as interested. And so that was really encouraging. I think there's several factors into that, people coming out of that pandemic and wanting to get more involved. But that was really encouraging for us to see that kind of number. And then the red line you see there is attendance at our soldering events. It looks like it goes down. However, that first event was kind of us learning how to effectively run these events. And so we had surface mount boards and through hole boards and didn't really have signups. And so it was just walk in, and it was pretty chaotic. It was great. We got a lot of people, but it was pretty chaotic. And so from that, we've learned how to effectively kind of put in sign up time slots and that kind of thing, which makes it so each student can actually get questions answered and that sort of thing. And so since that event, we've had a fairly steady turnout, both in terms of people coming back who want to make every single one of our boards, which is great, but we also have probably about 50-50 of 50% new people, 50% old people, which is also great to see. Next slide, please. So for future activities, of course, our soldering events have been great in the past, and so we plan to continue with those. We also are hoping to maybe make some new boards that'll help us demonstrate different soldering techniques, maybe have some more through holes in case we have people who aren't quite up to hand soldering surface mount kind of stuff yet. So that's kind of on our to-do list. We've also had some interest in technical presentations by the e-board. So we're hoping to start doing that maybe this spring. We also have some hands-on, a lot of our previous kind of talks from industry people have just been like technical presentations, which is good, but we're hoping to work in a couple more hands-on type of workshops, which should be exciting. And of course, continue the technical presentations as well. We have recently come in contact with Burton EMS, which is an hour and a half south of us. And they've been open to the idea of doing a plant tour for our chapter down there. So that is something we're hoping to get on the schedule. And then the other big thing is just outreach to a wider variety of students. We have a lot of electrical and computer engineering students currently, but of course, chemistry, chemical engineering, material science, and engineering, those are also very big topics in PCB, especially in fabrication. So if we could get more of those students involved as well, I think that would be really cool.
That's excellent, Brock. That's excellent, Garrett. This is interesting because you were definitely trying to cast a wider net of students to bring into the chapter. And it just brings into more thoughts and conversation too, whenever you're having any of your meetings, which is wonderful. That's great. This is very impressive. I'm really, really happy to see all that you've done. You've done a great job leading this group. Thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any questions for Garrett? Nope. Okay. I'll let you finish up. Excuse me.
Sure. So just to go over chapter benefits, of course, I've kind of talked through a lot of the industry connections, education projects, that sort of stuff. Our membership cost is historically, and including this year, has been sponsored by Calumet Electronics. And so that's that's a great benefit as well. And of course, access to the IPCEF scholarships is a great benefit. And then there's also the opportunity for leadership experience, e-board or technical project leads. Getting involved in that kind of way allows you to kind of also have some say in the direction we go as a chapter. If you're interested in a certain type of project and you want to spearhead that kind of effort, we're all for supporting that. So yeah.
Wonderful. Any questions for Gerd? All right. Well, if you think of any, we'll have a little bit of time at the end of our session here too. All right, let's move on. Thank you very much, Gerd. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Let's move on to University of Maryland, Eastern Shore. And today we have Joel Tomlinson, who is going to speak to this chapter. He's done a wonderful job also in supporting this chapter and its students. Go ahead, Joe.
Thank you, Wendy. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Joel Tomlinson, and I'm the faculty advisor for the IPC Student Chapter at the University of Maryland, Eastern Shore. So I am a faculty member in the engineering technology department, should I state. And I'm the faculty advisor for our IPC Student Chapter. So our student chapter, our school specifically, is not a very large school. So we have our student chapter encompasses quite a few different majors. We have our engineering majors, we have a couple aviation science students, engineering tech students, and computer science students in our program. And our leadership team is made up of quite a few different majors in that as well. So a really diverse group of students here. Just a little background on our institution. We are an 1890s land grant historic Black college and university. And our IPC chapter was founded in 2019. So a little bit about our student chapter goals and objectives. We have really one simple goal of our student chapter is to increase student preparedness for entry into the electronics and electronics manufacturing industry. Our area supports quite a few industries in this sector. And so we really want to increase our preparedness of our students who potentially are going to be employed in these areas. So how do we accomplish these objectives? And right off the bat, we host a recruitment and onboarding session event every semester. And typically we sell that with some food and other things of nature to get students interested in coming. But mostly I leave it up to the students to kind of set that date and to encourage other students to attend these events. The student chapter, we host monthly meetings through the semester. That's another thing. So our students do meet once a month on the leadership team for their monthly meeting. Also, I allow the students to develop the workshops that they're going to be offered. And anything related to electronics is fair game, is what I really just kind of let that guideline go. And I expect our students to schedule a site tour of an industry every single semester. And now that COVID is kind of, we're getting out of into the post-COVID era now, that a lot of industry sectors are opening up for site tours for students. So it's been a very exciting time as we transition in this time. And so a lot of our student goals, a lot of chapters, we encourage our students to complete the courses in the listed library on the IPCEF.org. That has been a crucial tool for our students in supplemental materials, or providing access to supplemental materials that they learn about in their classes, or in some cases they may not be exposed to in their classes. And this is a great opportunity for them to gain exposures about other topics related to electronics in their outside their discipline. So a little bit about our student chapter. This is one of our visits on the top right. We went to a IPC affiliate, which is called Custom Cable Solutions Incorporated, and they're a wire harness manufacturer. And in our area, probably close within proximity of our college, we have about 3 wire harness manufacturers in our area, which has been a huge plus. because I mean, this is where IPC has a huge advantage for our students. And I'll discuss this later on in my presentation about getting access to standards for wiring harness and J standards. You get 2 free standards by joining, and that's been a huge plus because our students have literally gone into interviews at Custom Cables and a few other industries around here and said, you know, when they're getting ready to, where they would say, okay, we would like you to kind of review these standards because this is what we use in wiring harness. My students will say, oh, we already know that. That's fine. We're already exposed to that. So that is a huge advantage to our students. And we'll talk about that in a later slide as well. But we do student soldering and breadboard workshops because I think on top of that, really soldering is our basic pathway to making an electrical connection. And so breadboarding is also a technique that a lot of students that may not be in electronics have not been exposed to. So we always start off with some of these basic workshops and make them available to, like I said, a diverse group of STEM students. And so this has been a new endeavor in the past year. Over the summer, about 45 minutes away from our college, we have a NASA Wallops flight facility, which part of Northrop Grumman, they resupply the International Space Station with the Antares mission. And so there's other science and other engineering missions there on the base. And we were given the opportunity of our students to participate in pretty much the global precipitation and measurement program through NASA. And our students, we had a professional lecture come down from the actual manager of that program and present to our students and offer potentially a partnership with a project through NASA, which was very exciting to see. And so on the bottom slide, you can see one of our students who we decided to do some basic LED. And one of the projects that the students wanted to do for soldering was an LED matrix. We see these all the time on social media and everything else. And so pretty much they each had a job to do within the soldering. So we didn't necessarily have the ability to necessarily make all the necessary solder joints at one point. So what we decided to do was, how do we create quality solder joints? And our students actually 3D printed an LED holder to hold all the array, 64 LEDs at one time, so students could make all those connections together. And that was an example of innovation on our students, because each student had a 3D printed jig there to hold all the LEDs while they soldered. And so they were able to work in groups and soldering. At the end, that was quite a bit of soldering. And so they enjoyed that project though. So some of our planned activities, one of the comments we had was, how do we, to support some of, since we do have a diverse group of learners from different backgrounds and majors in our chapter, one of the things that we thought would be a great idea is completing library courses as a group together. And so the students thought that as we move forward, maybe to get more participation and understanding of some interdisciplinary knowledge, was to complete some of the courses on the IPCEF library together. And I think that will be a great endeavor to help all students understand a little bit maybe about resistors or hand soldering and et cetera, PCB manufacturing, all the list of different topics on there. So they could choose from that library and complete them together. I thought was a great idea. We're going to host a recruitment onboarding event in the spring. So every semester we do that. So that's one of our planned activities. Submitting proposals for group projects and competitions and our NASA project. So I allow our students, we set a funding aside in our department for some of these activities. So I allow students to make an internal proposal. I have some of the criteria for that, so they can submit for projects that they want to do in the class. Also, there's a few in the past we had, I know IPC put out a few competition listings, and so if that does happen again, that would be one of our future designs to do that, is to get it to submit a proposal for that. And also our NASA project is going to be our big project for the next semester. So on the right hand side, you can see this is just one of 4 units that is going to be part of the GPM system, and it just collects rain data, and that helps support the launches with predicting weather and patterns and things of that nature, so Wallops can have successful flights and launch out of the facility. So that's going to be one of our big projects. Also, for other student projects, the HASS project for the high altitude balloon projects for NASA, that's accepting applications now for anybody who's interested, by the way. So that's another project that we're hoping to submit a proposal for. And we're going to visit a local manufacturer. We just had a startup company just pop up for a wiring harness, and we're hoping to make a visit to that and hopefully make some good connections there with our students. And so one of the best topics I think that students have really responded well to is our IPC Student Chapter resume development workshop. So having a resume development workshop is crucial. And I bring in one from our modern arts who teaches our technical writing course in English. I bring her over, and I bring a person from our career services over, and to help students really develop their resumes and prepare them for industry. Because part of that is being able to present themselves well when they go out and interview for jobs, not just understanding the technical piece of that. There's definitely a soft skill there that needs to be developed. And that's one of our focal points of our chapter. So the benefits to the student chapter, realistically, we have, one of the best benefits that IPC provides to our students is access to valuable industry training and resources. These libraries have been a crucial part. Students have really enjoyed them. And students that didn't understand anything to do with electronics, that's been a very supplemental resource for those students. The other part is downloading industry standards. Once the student joins, they have access to 2 free standards that I highly encourage every student that joins to take advantage of. And specifically on the J standard for soldering and the WHMA, that's the wiring harness manufacturing standards have been a huge lift to our students. And ultimately, 2 of these manufacturing companies have co-ops with our program where we literally have 3 or 4 students rotating every semester, summer and winter with these companies because of that IPC connection and our students having that predecessory knowledge of the wiring harness standards, which I thought is just a phenomenal thing. And then enhancing, one of the things that we look at having a diverse group of majors such as computer science students and engineering students and aviation science. It gives the project-based learning a new twist and allows students to learn to do projects and works with groups that are not necessarily within their major. And I think that's preparatory for industry at its core. And having project-based learning where they work on projects with groups of people with different backgrounds and technical proficiencies and things of that nature is crucial. And obviously, we've had several students from our industry or from our major receive this IPC student scholarship. And that's been a huge lift. And I often tell the story of one of our students who was almost close to the amount of graduating debt-free from college, and he received that IPC scholarship, and it made him graduate debt-free, which I often tell that story to my students, and that's a good lift for them to say, and that student really worked hard to try to be debt-free, and I'm just so glad he was like, well, I've got this little bit much left to pay for my bill, and I'll be debt-free from my undergraduate degree, and he received the student scholarship, and that finalized that right there. And he was so excited for that. And that was a great opportunity for that young man. And now he's working in industry for Northrop Grumman as a test engineer on one of their projects there. And so, in developing a community of practice, I can't stress that enough. One of the most successful things about our student chapter has been our community of practice, who we involve, our industry partners. That's been just, I can't stress that enough. Who is your community of practice? Who is your local contacts? Who is going to be helping that place-based learning context and apply the manufacturing facilities that are near your area and things of that nature? We have a NASA base, which has been very, very convenient for us in that regard, and a couple of manufacturers there as well. But really leveraging those to better our students has really just been phenomenal, and just helping us develop that community of practice and industry knowledge, and training our students and preparing our students for industry has just been spectacular. And that's a focal point of our chapter. Thank you, Wendy.
Yes. Any questions for Joel? That's wonderful what you're doing at your site. This is excellent information. And I really appreciate the fact that you and Garrett are both talking about all the different resources that the chapter has for you regarding the standards and the education and the training that we have for some courses that are free. They're all free for the students. And I really, really appreciate the fact that you're showcasing that as well. We love giving out scholarships. We absolutely love doing it. We want to give out more scholarships. So it's just a matter of applying for them. So students who are interested, please let us know, because we certainly love to showcase the students that are doing hard work, and we want to help benefit their education in any way possible. All right, any questions? If not, we will move forward to Auburn. Padma, thank you so much for joining us today, and
Thank
I
you.
will pass it over to you.
Thank you, Wendy. Hi, everyone. I'm so sorry my camera is not working, so apologies for that. And I'm Padmanabha Chaudhary, short for Padma. We are a chapter at Auburn University, and we would like to discuss what we are doing right now at Auburn. Wendy, the next slide, please. So some of the Auburn chapter facts. So it was established in 2019. So it was the first chapter in the United States, and we currently hold the gold chapter status with the IPC Student Chapter organization. Next slide, please. Current chapter advisor for us is Dr. Saad Hamasa. He's an associate professor in industrial and system engineering, and he has been very helpful to us in organizing events, and also he has a lot of industry connections. So he has been very helpful in regarding to finding speakers to talk about. So we are currently a big team in Auburn in electronics. So we know a lot of people in the electronics industry with IPC as well. So Dr. Hamasa has been greatly helpful for us in that regard of helping us out in finding speakers to talk about and finding interesting topics also that student will be more interested about. Next slide, please. So we do have a big team. I'm the current president of IPC. So I've been elected president this time in 2022. So this is my running year, and we have around 10% team in the IPC with a lot of students and activities from various other departments as well. So we have a lot of industrial engineering. I personally from mechanical engineering, and we have a lot of people in computer science as well. Next slide, please. Yeah, so our focus is currently to organize conference and guest speakers. So that is our major focus. We wanted to highlight. So we are a kind of an electronics packaging group. We have a big of an electronics packaging group. So we are trying to focus on the different aspects of electronics industry. Not only just solder or a wire bonding kind of thing. We are trying to focus on the electronic side of computer science side of coding and those aspects as well. And we are trying to attend major conferences so that we would able to attract other department students to organize and join IPC Student Chapter. And they would be able to get the full opportunities of IPC with various member groups and various industry opportunities as well as internships. So that has been our major focus, and we have been trying to push in that direction. Next slide. Yeah, so these are kind of the IPC scholarship winners. So last year's, I think 8 people won IPC scholarship from Auburn. And the year before, also 5 or 6 people has won scholarship from Auburn, and we have been winning a lot of scholarships from IPC, and we have been greatly helpful to, greatly thankful to IPC for choosing Open. And last year, I think Wali shown he won the leadership scholarship from IPC as well. So he has been taking that check from the IPC student organization. So that has been the photo I have tried to showcase. Next slide, please. So some of our previous activities I have showed over here. So we do have a lot of large student as base in that electronics industry. So we tried an event of a webinar to showcase how it is the best practices and possibilities of getting hired into the electronics industry, and we created a webinar with various other panelists of how you should focus your research, or what are the chances you should take advantage of the IPC members and how you could get hired into the electronic event, and that has been a routine of our can you able to hear me now? And sorry. Yeah, I think it was a connection. Now we are trying to get electronics based on research. Things, or did we again get disconnected? I'm not able to hear any. Hi, Wendy. Can you hear me
Yes, I
properly?
can hear you now.
Oh, sorry. Yeah,
That's
I was.
okay.
So,
Technology, what can you do?
so yes, so I was explaining like how we have a big international student as over here who are working in electronics and as well as electronics packaging, and we organized an event of getting hired in the electronics industry with various other speakers, so that we could showcase them what are the aspects they should look when going for an interview in hiring into the electronics industry. Next slide, please. So this was another event that we have organized. Jinesh has been our speaker in this event. So he is on the field of flexible electronics. So how about printed electronics and using those printed electronics in automotive wire harnesses and sensor measurements. So he showcased his research and how the electronics of future devices and how the electronics is evolving throughout the space, that space in the future space. He showcased those aspects in automotive as well as in defense applications. So that was another event, and that has been quite a successful event because a lot of people were interested into seeing the future of electronics and the devices, how it's going forward, and how everything is becoming more thinner and thinner. So that was another event that we have done successfully in the past with a lot amount of participation in this event. Next slide, please. So right now, currently, I have one fixed plan of doing an event that is a webinar on wire harness application in space industry. So this has been
Padma, I think we lost you again there for a sec.
we have fixed our speaker, Miss Applied Physics Laboratory and Applications and Space Sorry, hello, having
We've got you back now.
Functional issues. So sorry for that. Yes, sorry again. It's auto. I think the connection is very unstable, so I'm not able to record properly. It's showing me good speed, but still, I don't know. So the webinar was based on the wire harness application in space industry, and we are going to focus on how printed electronics works in the space industry and what are the future applications of that. Secondly, we do have a planned event, but the tentative dates are not fixed, so I haven't put it up on this. So we have a soldering event to invite a lot of undergrad students to get interested in the field of electronics and do research in the field of electronics. So that is another event that we have a tentative date of month of March in next year to plan for that. And we do have a couple of more seminar speakers joining us about electronics and the future of electronics space. Another engineer into our team makes on those aspects, and if their research could be interested in electronics in those materials, that would be interesting as well for our as a whole group to improve. So that is one of the things that we are looking forward in the upcoming year. Next slide, please. So overall, I would say the IPC student member benefits are the access to the scholarship, which has been like greatly helpful to all the students who are, especially graduate students who have been greatly helped by those the scholarship. Secondly, industry training, like I know a lot of graduate students in our department as well. Research, they generally tend to overlook a lot of small aspects of soldering or those things. That has been greatly helpful to us in showing the training of these. Third, internship and leadership opportunity aspect of IPC. Hello. Yeah, so that aspect of that I have for my slides is that we could help you with. And I'd love to answer any of the questions you have. I'm so sorry with the internet connection. It has been like a stressful thing. So sorry for that.
It's okay, Padma. It's part of Zoom. What can we say? Webinars. It's just our new world. It's okay. It was very informative, and we thank you very much for joining. Any questions for Padma? Okay. Well, thank you everyone for joining. Garrett, Joel, Padma, you both do excellent jobs in leading your chapters. We can't thank you enough. You are an excellent showcase. And if any other students that are listening in are interested in either joining these chapters specifically or starting their own chapter, we are more than happy to help you out in setting up a chapter. I personally am so impressed with these 3 chapters in how they have gone out and reached out to their industry in their communities to have speakers, have post COVID site visits. It's very, very impressive. And if anyone else is interested, I am more than happy to help you reach out to industry. If you're looking to do a webinar, even with someone that's not close by, we have over 2,600 members of companies worldwide. And that's not just all their sites. As you well know, many companies have many sites across the world. I am more than happy to put you in touch with anybody you'd be interested in speaking with. Just reach out to me. I'm more than happy to do that. So if there's no other further questions, I just want to end by saying thank you again to these chapters. You're doing excellent work. You're shaping these students for the futures of electronics, and I appreciate all that you do. We at the Education Department, Education Foundation, appreciate everything that you do. So thank you very much. Good luck all in finals, and take good care and happy holidays.
Thank you, Wendy.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Wendy.
Thank you.
Thank you.